Again, good morning, everybody. My name is Peter Reichert. I will be presenting the OEE Enterprise introduction to Adroit OEE. We will have 4 of these webinars in the next 4 weeks. So this will be just a simple introduction to where does the OEE come from, where did we start with this OEE, and and just a little bit of a history of OEE itself as well. I'm not an OEE expert, but there's a lot of videos on YouTube available for OEE, but I'm just going to touch on the basics of OEE in this presentation. Again, my name is Peter Reichert. I'm from Ultron Byte System Integration, PMC and IoT, and I will be assisting Adroit today with this webinar. Sorry, let me just get the right screen on. A little bit of the history of the OEE. We started about 2.5 years back in Ultron to look at a OEE that is local, to partner up with a local supplier to be able to develop an OEE system in the market. We as Ultron then wrote the FDS for that, and we contacted Adroit, and they were quite interested in that, and after some negotiations we then started to develop this OEE. Just quickly, a little bit of background on why we were interested in it. We mostly play in the MOM space, manufacturing operations management, as well as the MES manufacturing operations systems, which OEE is part of. We looked at the old, there's 2 OEE systems that Adroit has at the moment. There's a legacy system. We had a look at that legacy system, and we found some shortfalls in there which we wanted to address, which we then did with him, and we've got now a full system developed. It's out in the market. We've did a first POC on it. We also then went further and implemented onto a lot of machines in a company, and it is running in production at the moment with great success. So, what is OEE? I'm going to start right at the beginning. I don't know what the level of the people is, so if you know what it is, please bear with me. Normally, in factories, you got a lot of managers that wants to know what the percentage of their performance is in the factory. That is normally done by a clipboard and pen exercise with a lot of clipboards and a lot of people running around trying to do a lot of calculations. What OEE is doing is that it's basically taking that pen and clipboard away, and everything has been done automatically. Logging to a central database, and then in that we normally we get a lot of reporting out of that, and that reporting is then assisting with a true projection of OEE. The OEE is a real-time reliability and with all subcomponents that is assisting management in relation to operator performance, machine availability, and quality of the product. It increases on competitiveness, return on investment, visualizing performance, reduce machinery cost, production insight, and real-time performance monitoring. OEE is built on 3 pillars: availability, performance, and quality. That is what we use to determine the total OEE of the factory. That 3 components we can then further break down into the 6 biggest losses of the company. The 6 biggest losses is setup, breakdown, and that is under availability losses; performance losses, which is where you get the 2 major stoppages; and speed losses; and quality losses, which is startup losses and in production losses. We basically call them in the Adroit OEE under the performance short stops and slow cycles. Availability is the unplanned stoppages and the planned stoppages, and under quality, project rejects and start rejects. We also got a thing that we call short stops and long stops. What is short stops and what is long stops? Short stops is where the operator, normally it's been dictated by the customer. The customer dictates the short stop in the plant, and he will give us a time which we can then set, and it is all scalable. You can do it anytime. And he will say that his operators must at any time be able in 2 minutes to, if there's a problem, to solve the problem and start up again. These short stops is automatically booked as short stops in the system, and the operator has got no input in the sense of delay bookings on the OEE. The long stops is where it exceeds the 2 minutes, and we then interlock the machine, and that forces the operator to go to the OEE system, log his problem, what it was, by selecting it. We've got a list that we get from the customer, which we put into the system, and he select his stoppage as no trolley available, or bin full, or whatever it is. And after he's booked the stoppage, he will then be able to start the machine, or complete the process, or go on with the process where we cannot stop the machine, and that forces the operator to then put that in. Running slow is another thing that we measure. Running slow is called speed losses. Reduced speed is one of the 6 big losses of the OEE and affects OEE performance. Slow running is where you are running slower than the planned time on the machine. We've got planned stoppages. Planned stoppages we handle normally through, if we start off with the OEE, we need to book a works order into the OEE. That works order then automatically starts the OEE running, or the time frame in the OEE. It will not start the running process of the machine. You still have to load, but it will start the delay process, or the delay bookings in the system. What happens is, when you do planned stoppages, the production planner will then remove that list of works orders, and the system will automatically book no production planned, or no production in queue. That is then for if there is no production planned, but it is also for planned stoppages, and there will be no delay bookings on the operator system itself. It will all be booked automatically. We book in block periods to minimize the system, the traffic on the system, on the network. We use a SQL database to log to, and that SQL database, the reporting side of it, we use SSRS, which is SQL reporting services. We block periods is also determined on the amount of machines, and the amount of or the length of the process, which can be 10, 15, 20 an hour. It's all can be set up in the agent. Shift scheduling. We went to Adroit and we talked to them about shift scheduling. This old shift agent that they had could only do the shifts itself. We saw a problem in that because we do not want to include public holidays, planned shutdowns, weekends, meetings, lunch times, tea times, as well as periods between shifts, which is actually dead periods and should not be in the OEE calculation. Adroit then um, wrote us a new agent, and this agent can now take care of all these planned shutdowns, weekends, meetings, lunch times by ticking a little box which say busy period. If that's a busy period, it will not take part of the calculation. The OEE calculation look as follow. The OEE calculation looks as follow. It will take the availability, the performance and the quality, and that is multiplied by each other, and that will give you the total OEE. That calculations is all been done and displayed on the operator OEE as real time for the current orders, and is then logged to the system for reference later. We do a lot of reporting on this. The reporting on this is different reports that we create for management. The reports that we create, we use a lot of the 20/80 principle, where 20% of your downtime, or 20% of your reasons will create 80% of your downtime. So if you concentrate on the 20%, you will actually sort out 80% of your downtime. We show when equipment is stopped, short stops, long stops. We also take the sting out of the boardroom a bit, where they would normally get the fight between people whose operators was where and whose maintenance staff was where. The OEE take this totally away by giving reliable information to the boardroom from when equipment was stopped, how long was the stop period, when were maintenance called, how late maintenance arrived, how long did it take for maintenance to resolve the issue, where did maintenance finish, and when did the operator restart the equipment. This is just a short introduction to the OEE. What we are going to do next is we're going to have another 3 webinars, which will be more information about the OEE. The first webinar that we're going to do after this is hardware and software requirements. I get a lot of questions from people asking me, Peter, how many sensors do we need on the machines? And there is a perception that you need a lot of sensors to measure the OEE, which is not the case. We're going to look at the sensors, we're going to look at the software that we need, and also the hardware requirements. And I'm going to do a small demo on how to install the OEE and new equipment on the OEE. So in other words, we use the object model, so we're going to just show you how to add new equipment. The third webinar will be on how to set up the OEE Advanced Agent, how to set up the Shift Agent, and the setups in the OEE itself, where you set up the groups, the machine info, the product info, the works orders, all that type of thing. Webinar 4 will be the live demo of the operator view, where I will have a camera on a demo or a test rig, and we will have the operator view on the screen, and we will go through a full cycle on on the OEE from the word start, where we load in the works order, and then how the operator loads it onto the system, how we start the equipment, and also how we handle short stops, long stops, and then we're going to look a little bit at reporting. Thank you very much for this. If there's any questions, please let me know. Any questions? I know this is just the beginning. It's just the small intro. I think there will be more yeah, I'm not sure. I must ask if it's in Damien. I'm not sure, but I'll give you feedback on that one on the next one, which is next week. Next week, Thursday again. If there's not anything else, you can find information on this on the Adroit website, and by logging in, or you can contact Adroit at any time, as well as myself. Please like and subscribe the webinars if you like the webinars. Comments, please. Anything else? Thank you very much. Is dit right? Ja. Hoe gaan ek nou af? Los ek dit nou net so?